Test. Test 1 2 test.
Dr. Bird, you ready? That's a little weak there. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the agenda for the Quorum Court Committee meeting tonight, which is June 7th, 2022, here at the Jefferson County Courthouse. We'll start out with roll call. Justice Jimmy Fisher.
Here.
Justice Ted Harden.
Here.
Justice Reginald Adams.
Here.
Justice Roy Agee.
Here.
Justice Conley Byrd.
Present.
Justice Alfred Carroll.
Here.
Justice Melanie Dumas.
Here.
Justice Brenda Bishop Gaddy.
Here.
Justice Daniels.
Here.
Justice Holcomb.
Here.
Justice Cedric Jackson.
Here.
Justice Johnson. Justice Reginald Johnson.
Here.
Okay. Next, we'll have the Public Safety Committee, and that's Justice Conley Byrd.
Yes, Judge.
I call the Public Safety Committee to order. I'm missing Justice Royal Johnson, Patricia, and I'd ask that you go ahead and appoint Danny Holcomb to the committee. All the other members are present.
Okay, Justice Holcomb, you have a comment? Okay.
We have one item before us, an appropriation ordinance to reduce the salary amount for slot 12-1 at the Juvenile Justice Center. Do I have a motion to consider? Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Yes. Yes.
I had two questions. I wanted to know,
Can you use your mic? Well,
Yeah, everyone put their microphone on.
Okay. So in reducing the salary amount to be equivalent to the other housekeeping, it mentions in number 7, other duties, and I was just wondering, are there some more duties that go with that one that don't go with the others?
I believe there is, and if I may ask someone from the Sheriff's Department to address that.
Yes, your question, if there's other duties that are assigned, yes, there are other duties that are assigned to that particular position.
Besides housekeeping.
To housekeeping. They also serve as a laundry technician. Originally, that position was created back in 2017. Its original title was laundry technician. And so that position was merged with two positions. Two positions were merged because back then it was identified that we had some labor issues, that we had a full-time employee who was also working in a part-time capacity at hourly wage. So there are other duties for that position, to answer your question, yes.
So they work in laundry also?
They work in laundry also, yes.
Alfred, Justice Carroll, you had a question?
I don't think my mic is working, but my question is, why the arbitrary reduction? Do you have any more background, Mr. Chairman, as to why the arbitrary reduction in salary?
What I have is in the background material, and it's a $10,000 reduction over what it was, and as it reads, it was because it was thought that the position was just going to be housekeeping, and it was trying to make it comparable to the other housekeeping positions in the county. But what we just heard is that it also entails some duties in the laundry.
And Mr. Chairman, I might add, since we don't have a unified countywide salary schedule to make those kind of comparisons, to arbitrarily make that comparison absence of any data that we have put together, I think would be an injustice to the individual who may be vying for that particular slot. But we don't have a salary schedule that's consistent across the board to compare it to.
Justice Agee.
Is the housekeeping portion of that position, is that an all-day job? They get finished and they need other duties?
Yes, the housekeeping and the laundry. It's institutional laundry, so they serve all the laundry, all the bedding, all the uniforms, and all the things.
I understand that this position is housekeeping and laundry.
Yes.
Is either one of those duties an all-day position, or is the housekeeping a shorter of day that they can do, finish up the day, keep with laundry?
Okay, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear the last part.
Is the housekeeping an all-day job, and they're doing laundry at the same time, or do they get finished with the housekeeping duties and have time to do the laundry too?
Combined, it's an all-day job.
I'm sure that is, but is the reason that you put the laundry duties on that because the housekeeping was not an all-day job?
Going back to 2017, I'm sorry, I don't know, I wouldn't be able to answer it. If that consumed an entire day, on every
I'm talking
day.
about now.
Now,
Care of the housekeeping duties of that position, is that an all-day job? Or did they get finished early, and you look for something else to do to fill the day?
the two of them combined is an all-day job,
Okay, so you put the laundry duties on there, so it would be an all-day job?
yes.
It was originally full-time.
It was originally a full-time position.
For both.
I got a question, Don.
All right, just a second. Justice Jackson.
Just to touch bases on that conversation, I mean, we're gonna go back a little further, 2017. That job pretty much didn't end during the day, because I mean, I currently worked at the juvenile during that time, and we had to wash clothes at night. So it wasn't a job that you can do at 7 o'clock in the morning and finish at 5 and pick up at lunch, housekeeping. It just had to get done. So, sometimes we had to wash clothes from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning. So it wasn't a job that, you added a job to it. You had the person that actually incorporate that job along with the other duties. So, I mean, it could have took 2 days. I mean, so clothes you washing on Mondays might have been clothes you had to wash on Tuesdays also. So it just whenever she got finished with it.
Justice Adam.
Chairman, my question is, our concern is, this position, did it take, we gave, 2 raises? And that position did not go up to that certain amount? And did it go up to that certain amount, and now we think it's not worthy enough for that amount, and we're bringing it back down? I'm not really understanding that part of it. Because didn't we raise it to that with the raises?
I'll have to defer to the judge on that.
Okay, I wasn't gonna say anything tonight, I was just gonna let y'all babble it out. But thank you for the history of that position is that position was a dual role position. It was a position that the person that was in that slot was also additionally doing part-time. So after her hours of work or whatever, she would clean the facility. Auditors suggested that we put it up under one salary, okay, because they was doing we were paying from 2 separate lines. And so for the part-time, she was making $10,000 for her additional duties of cleaning up the facility, washing or whatever that needed to be done. And so that was the $10,000 that was part-time. So the position itself did not pay that amount. It was just another $10,000 was given in addition because she was working part-time to clean the building and everything too. So this was when this slot came up. Since it does not entail that part-time anymore, that was the only analogy of pulling that additional $10,000 that was attached to it, because that was only done at the auditor's request that we pay them out of one fund. So, so that was the reasoning behind it. So it's not that we're trying to take anything away or whatever, but the history of it is that particular amount contained a part-time amount that we just rolled all into one salary, if you get what I'm saying. It was this person that was working the position was working full-time, right? The housekeeping part of it was part-time. And so she was given $10,000 additionally to clean the facility on a part-time status. And so after hours or whatever, she would then clean the building, vacuum, do whatever needs to be done. And she was given $10,000 extra because she was performing those extra duties. So that was the deal on that.
Not doing that duty anymore.
And I think part of his question was, we had the 2 salary increases. Is that still included in that 30,800, whatever it is?
No, was not. But that's, to me, that's not an issue. If, I mean, we can go back and put that additional on there. I mean, because that was not taken into consideration. I just know that it was a flat $10,000 that was given additionally for the part-time. And for a part-time position, you know, the raises weren't given to part-time. So that's why we just went with the straight $10,000.
This one, I got both of y'all, but Justice Fisher had his hand up.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. My question would be is that all of these numbers that we're speaking of, are those numbers, were they included in this year's budget, these numbers that we are talking about now? Because I've heard it spoken of that there was no numbers to balance or even take a look at, to even look at to make sure that there's one, that someone else is getting paid equal to is this position as the others. And I was trying to find out where these numbers come from if we didn't have anything, no guideline, no pay scales for the 20,000 or the 30,000. And then again, I'd like to know that with all of these numbers, were those numbers that we're talking about, any numbers, are they included in this year's budget?
It's my understanding that the slot was budgeted for the 40,853. But
So I would ask, if that slot was already in the budget, then I would ask the county clerk if that slot was included when we did the budget adjustment. I wouldn't know. I'm sorry.
Treasurer.
I don't remember that. I deal with everybody with.
What I'm saying is, when we did the 6% for all the employees, then additionally the 4%, was that slot included in there? Was it just for?
Was that included? I would think so.
Yeah. Okay.
It was no longer, after 2017, coming into the 2018
Okay.
budget, it was no longer a full-time and a part-time. It became one slot funded at a particular amount. So, and a full-time slot, therefore, in the previous 2 raises, they did, that particular person who filled that slot did get the increases.
Okay.
Chairman Byrd, my name's Adam Butler. I'm here on behalf of the sheriff.
can you hold on just a minute? I got 2 JPs in front of you, Justice Johnson.
Okay, my question is, where did this decrease come from? How was it noted? Did the auditor say we needed to decrease this position, or did the duties change of this person? What changed other than, what changed?
The only thing that changed is it was a dual, it was a part-time status that they was getting additional money because they were doing the housekeeping duties along with it.
So
It was a full-time, and then they were getting paid extra money to, out of another fund as a part-time to clean the building and stuff.
So the duties changed? They don't do that anymore?
What's that?
It's not the same work anymore?
No, it's a housekeeping, it's just like they got it listed in the bill. Yes, it's a housekeeping position. But before, it was not a straight housekeeping position. It was those duties that were performed plus the extra of cleaning the buildings. So in essence, it was like you're doing a full-time job, and then they give you extra money to do extra duty. The auditors just felt that it would be better to come out of just pay them one salary.
And that was when?
I don't know exactly.
5 years ago.
17.
Okay.
Coming into the 2018 budget.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, Mr. Justice Caddy.
My question is, do we have the money for that particular slot? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, I am not willing to reduce anybody. The way things are now, gas prices is high, everything is expensive. So I'm not willing to reduce anyone. That's my take on that.
All right, then you had a question, Chuck Holcomb.
Well, okay, Steve keeps going on. So we're still asking this one person that's in this slot to do duties that other people are not doing. Is that correct? Okay. I just want to clarify that the extra duties still remain that we were paying them to do for in the past.
Justice Carroll.
Yes, sir. Two things, and I apologize if I misled the court. I said we do not have a countywide salary schedule that we have put together doing a comparative analysis of positions, time on job, and readiness. So we don't have that because we don't have a salary schedule, so we cannot do a comparison because we don't have anything that we have already set up to compare. But the other thing I hope that you do, Mr. Chairman, I would hope that your committee would table this or vote it
down.
Chairman Birdman,
Yeah.
address the committee. My name's Adam Butler. I'm here on behalf of the sheriff. I'm an attorney at Ranch Thompson, one with Dale and Butler. I wanted to bring a few things to the attention of the court. First of all, in addition to all the understandable issues that have been raised through your questions, and I applaud those questions, in addition to all those, and the fact that there's been no rationale presented whatsoever for a reduction for this position, the other part of this is that it's a separation of powers issue. It's not constitutional. This money was already appropriated. The money's there. Nothing's changed. It's a good question. Nothing's changed in the 5 years. There's really no rationale, but that's not really even the purview of, respectfully, of what you guys should be doing. I mean, at this point, the Arkansas law is clear that for a position like the sheriff's office, the day-to-day administrative responsibility of each county rests within the discretion of the elected county official, in this case the sheriff. And this is an attempt with really no rationale to impact the sheriff's ability to hire. And nothing has changed. There's really not been anything put forward to suggest really that there even should be this pre-offer requisition form that was put in place before all this. But beyond that, this is outside the purview of what should be done. It's clearly unconstitutional. It's an infringement on the sheriff's ability to do his job. The money is there and has been there. And then if you look beyond that, there's been absolutely no rationale whatsoever as to why this job salary should be reduced. If anything, what we've heard so far, just from the questions, is that if anything, it should go up, much less go down. But beyond all that, it's outside the purview of what should be going on. It's a separation of powers issue, and it's unconstitutional. And I just wanted to come here on behalf of the sheriff and let you guys know that. I know he sent around some materials. I hope you had the chance to look at it. I think before you get into the nuts and bolts of the questions of the dollars, which are there and were appropriated, I mean, the overall umbrella big issue is that once the money's there, you know, the hiring and firing and the day-to-day operation of these things and making these decisions, that's up to the sheriff. And this is an unconstitutional infringement on his ability to do his job, and there's a reason that we have separation of powers. And I just wanted you guys to know that. I appreciate you giving me the time to stand up and give you a little bit more information. I think all those questions you asked were good questions, but I think before you even address any of them, the threshold question is this even something we should be considering? And under Arkansas law, it isn't. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other justices on the committee that have any further questions based on what we've heard? Are there any other justices on the court that have any questions based on what you've heard? We have at the current time a motion and a second to accept the ordinance which would reduce the salary from 40,853 to 30,853. If there's no further discussion, yes, sir.
I never did get a clear understanding of, that person has the same duties. That person has the same duties, ain't gonna continue to have the same duties, but gonna lose $18,000.
Currently,
$10,000.
currently, there's no one in that slot, is my understanding. Is that correct?
Correct. We have a candidate, which
But
is,
he's not been hired.
no.
He's not finished the approval process.
And to further the answer, because we haven't gotten the job requisition returned to us.
So
Executed.
Has anybody been in that slot at 48,000?
it's not 48, it's $40,858.
40,000.
$53.
Have anybody been in that slot?
That slot was vacated with a promotion at the beginning of the year. So it's been vacant since January. So the answer would be yes, because the raises were effective last year.
So the raises made it to 40.
Yes.
I have a question, Mrs. Cummings.
Yes, Justice Dan.
So my understanding is the person that was in this position, Judge, the question was directed towards you, and to understand this, the person that was in this position, you said per the auditor, she was actually performing 2 different jobs. She was getting paid for, the first job was a full-time job, right?
Right.
And she was also doing a part-time job,
Right.
which raised the salary to another $10,000.
That's correct.
So as far as the auditors are concerned, the job, they stated that the job should go under one salary, one position.
They just advised that it would be better and suggested that we pay just one salary rather than pulling from a part-time line and then a full-time line. And so, again, it was extra duties that this person, we could have hired a part-time person to do it, but this person was performing extra job in order to receive extra money.
So the full-time position was a $30,000, and the part-time was another $10,000 add.
Yeah, but once we combined it, then it made the slot a $40,000 slot.
So,
But the reasoning, the reasoning behind it was that it included that additional duties.
so are the additional duties still part of this job?
Yes, yes. Well, the duties now be strictly housekeeping, as way you,
And laundry tech.
and laundry tech. Was that on the? I didn't see that on there. All I saw was laundry.
Yes,
The position title, what you have on this job requisition pre-offer form was housekeeping tech.
committee members, yes.
Doesn't have anything, it didn't have laundry tech on it.
When it was renamed, that's what it was renamed.
Yeah.
But that position encompasses both of those duties.
Okay,
When it was renamed, when was it renamed? This 5, 6? Okay.
and
Oh, it was,
unless I've got something wrong, in 2019, the position was budgeted for that slot to pay $37,059. I'm reading right over the list here now. And you had somebody in there, and they quit the first year, but had they stayed in there, we've had 2 raises which would have brought the slot up to $40,853.84.
Somebody was in the slot.
And for the record, they didn't quit, Justice Byrd. They were promoted, and the slot's been vacant since that promotion.
Okay, so they're no longer in the slot's there. The slot would potentially have paid $40,853.84 with the raises that we had. But we're being asked today, and the issue before the committee is to reduce that particular slot $10,000. I've tried to give a lot of latitude here on the committee for the questions to be asked and to dealt with. But my committee is Reginald Adams, Roy A.G., Jimmy Fisher, Melanie Dumas, Brenda Bishop Gaddy, and it would be Patricia Royal Johnson, but we appointed Danny to be on the committee to take her place. I have a motion and a second before us to reduce that slot by $10,000. I have not heard anything about tabling or anything else, so I'm going to call a vote. All those in favor of reducing that slot by $10,000, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
Aye.
Okay. I think I heard 2 and 3, but let me do a roll call here. Reginald Adams, yes or no? To reducing it?
No.
Roy A.G.
Yes.
Jimmy Fisher.
Mr. Chair, before I vote, from what I've heard from the attorney that has been present with us, has stated that what we're about to do would be unconstitutional. So with that being said, if I vote to an unconstitutional ordinance, whether we voted up or down, it still would be unconstitutional. The way that I see it, unconstitutional is unconstitutional, and I don't see how I can sit here and vote for something that's unconstitutional, whether we voted up or whether we voted down, because if it's unconstitutional, then that's unconstitutional. I suggest us look to see that if it's possible, according to the way our standards is that there's 2 options the way that I see. There's table or pool. I don't see how you're going to, I'm not going to be able to vote, so I'm going to.
You're going to abstain?
Abstain.
Okay. Justice Dumas? No. Justice Gaddy?
No.
Justice Holcomb?
No.
It fails in committee. That concludes the Public Safety Committee, Judge.
Thank you, Justice Byrd. Next,
But I will make one comment.
Go ahead.
All due respect to the counselor present, we don't have our county attorney present.
Exactly.
And without hearing from our county attorney, we all have one counselor's opinion. That may or may not be correct, but since you voted it down, it has no bearing on this committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Justice Byrd. Next, we'll have the Human Resource Committee. Justice Cedric Jackson.
Well, I have 3 on the agenda today. First, on the resolution to condemn the existing cable plant in the Pine River area of Jefferson County, Arkansas.
Call out your committee members, if you don't mind.
Committee members, Ms. Dumas, A.G., Byrd, Carroll, Gaddy, and Reginald Johnson.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, got a motion second. Any questions?
Mr. Chair,
Sir.
if I can ask a question, kind of judge. I was in the cable office downtown. and it had a banner up about partnership or an initiative between Jefferson County and Pine Bluff Cable.
Yes, that's correct.
Does that have anything to do with this?
In order for them to perform the services and run those, the fiber to those areas, these lines that were abandoned by Friendship Cable has to be, a resolution has to be to condemn those so that Pine Bluff Cable can proceed with the contract and the grant that they've already gotten.
And did I miss the action we took that solidified that partnership or that mission?
Yes, I mean, they've already been here, the contract been signed, the grant been signed. I mean, that's already been done, so I don't know if you missed it or not.
Was it discussion in here at one point?
For the, yes, the grant has already been awarded. Yes, indeed, and we have passed a resolution in the past for them to take over those condemned existing cables for the Watson Chapel area and these other areas. It's just that they left the Pinebergen area out, and so in order for them to proceed with providing them with fiber and the project that they've already done, they have to do a resolution to condemn those cables.
And we did have that
Yes.
discussion in here.
Yes.
It's time to vote. All in favor by saying aye. Aye. Nays? Judge, motion passed. Second, Judge, a resolution of the Quorum Court, Jefferson County, Arkansas, approving the reappointment of one member to the Economic Development Corporation Board.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion, second, any questions? Time to vote. All in favor by saying aye. Any nays? Motion passed, Judge.
Okay.
One more added to the agenda. Ninth supplement lease agreement. The ninth supplement lease agreement dated as of June 7, 2022 by and between Jefferson County, Arkansas, Lisa, and Jefferson Hospital Association Incorporated, and for-profit Arkansas Corporation, Lisa. So basically just a lease agreement that we have with the hospital.
To extend the lease to 75, what is it, 75? I'm sorry.
End of 2099.
To the end of 2099.
I have a motion and a second.
We got a motion, do we have a second?
Any questions?
One, does this lease include all the buildings under the purview of the county hospital or just those at the facility?
Yes.
So you got Whitehall and there's a third one somewhere.
Yeah, yes, recognize.
So the answer is a little complex, but it's actually pretty simple when you think about things. When we had the original lease between the county and the hospital association, it was originally set up for we'll call it the block between Hickory, Mulberry, 42nd, and 40th, right where the hospital is. As we've grown over the years and the decades, the lease never really took into consideration the growth, but at the end of the termination of the lease, there's language in our document that we have now between the lease with the county that any of that property would revert right back to the county. So it would go right back, Whitehall property, whatever we own and we're in possession of now will go back to the county. So this is, we look at it as all one piece. If that answers your question.
So even though you have different plots that were not in the original lease, it would still be under this lease.
Right.
And if it,
Because of the reversion factor that it goes back to the county, everything is treated as the same.
okay, including all new
Yes.
additions, okay. Satisfied?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. How many properties do we do Jefferson Regional Medical Center now? Oh,
When you say properties, you mean clinics, buildings?
yes.
I don't have a number for that. Obviously, we have on our campus. We own the professional buildings across the street, just north of the campus. We obviously own the 80 acres out in Whitehall. We've recently purchased the two practices in Monticello, the Monticello Medical Clinic, and there's a couple of leases that we have. But those properties we do now own. I-530, which we now call the Whitehall, the Watson Chapel Health Complex, and then there's also a couple of properties that we own at Medical Park, which is just to the west of our JPC Roy professional building. And I think that's, well, we own the Eden Park property land, but,
on our schedule of properties for our property insurance, I want to say there's 18 to 20 lines. And I would not dare try and name them all.
generally speaking, I think I've outlined the majority of what we hear, the overwhelming majority.
I noticed a UAM sign marquee up on one of the buildings.
UAMS, yes.
Is it unreasonable at some point that the hospital board or its representative could come and enlighten us as to what has taken place in the last 5, 10, 15 years in terms of acquisition of clinics and properties and
Be happy to.
things that are forward thinking?
Be happy to do that.
Those who are administrators. That would be great. That would be great. And it would be a comfort to the citizens of Jefferson County to really to know that Jefferson Hospital is not the little hospital we used to go to 25 years ago. Really be a comfort. I think.
But upon his request or any request, I'd be happy to do that.
Vote.
We have a motion, second question, time to vote. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion passed, Judge.
All right. Thank you, Justice Jackson. Next, we'll have Budget and Finance, and that's Justice Jimmy Fisher.
Budget and Finance will now come to order. All the present members of the Budget and Finance Committee, except for Sister Johnson, she's absent. Judge, we have 5 items on the agenda tonight. There were 6. One voted down. The first one would be a resolution of the Quorum Court of Jefferson County, Arkansas, approving an appointment. I'm sorry, let me get this. There's a resolution, an ordinance, an appropriation order to provide a supplemental appropriation to the fund of 1,000 county general elections. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions or discussions? In that there's not any.
One question.
Justice Berg.
Yeah. This includes the runoff. It includes the Watson Chapel School District, and it also includes the general election in the fall. Is that correct?
No, this wouldn't include the runoff, no. Sorry, I thought that was our stuff. That's the election commission stuff too.
So it does include the general election in the fall. Is that my understanding? Or will we have to make another appropriation at a later date?
That'll be a question for the next commission. I'm not sure.
Okay.
There any other discussions? Not all in favor? Opposed? Like sign? Motion carries. Number 3, an appropriation ordinance to appropriate funds to County General Fund 1,000 Starr County Clerk.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions or concerns? Being that there's not any, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Like sign, motion carried. Number 4, an appropriation ordinance to transfer funds from 3042 late assessment fund to 1,000 county general assessor.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Questions? Concerns? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Item number 5, an appropriation ordinance to create a grant administration for Jefferson County.
Move for the adoption.
Second.
Or move we pass it on to the full court with a do pass, sorry.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions?
Chairman,
Chair recognizes Justice Carroll.
I'd like to move the table it until we find out more information about that.
We have a motion to table. Do we have a second?
Dies.
Motion dies for lack of a second. Are there any other questions or concerns? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
No. Nay.
Need a roll call count.
You read the ordinance again.
An appropriation ordinance to create a grant administration for Jefferson County. Judge, can we get a roll call?
Yes, Justice Fisher,
Yes.
Justice Harden,
Yes.
Justice Adams,
No.
Justice A.G.,
Yes.
Justice Byrd,
No.
Justice Carroll,
No.
Justice Dumas,
Yes.
Justice Gaddy,
No.
Justice Daniels, Justice Holcomb,
No.
Justice Jackson,
No.
Justice Johnson,
No.
okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
That's 6 and
7
7.
noes.
It dies.
Guys. 5 yeses.
So the motion failed.
Fails.
Motion fails.
Yes.
Appropriation number 6, an appropriation ordinance to create a multimedia coordinator for Jefferson County. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Are there any questions?
Chairman,
Chair recognizes Justice Jackson.
I make a motion to table this one also.
There's a motion to table, then put on the table. We have a second.
Dies.
I second it, Mr. Chairman.
We have a second. All in favor, do we have any questions?
I have a question.
Chair recognizes Justice Daniels.
In this request, this motion here, just to remind the Quorum Court that per the Amendment 55, Section 3, it gives the county judge, it says that the county judge is responsible for necessary personnel and to purchase labor and/or services from individuals or firms employed through Jefferson County. So it is at the discretion of the Jefferson County judge to deem that it's necessary for any services to perform through Jefferson County.
Point of order. You have a motion to table in a second. It's non-debatable, so we should vote whether to table it or not.
Yeah, we've got to vote on the second motion first.
We'll vote on the second motion first. If that was to table it. Roll call, Judge.
Justice Fisher,
No.
Justice Harden,
No.
Justice Adams,
Yes.
Justice A.G.,
No.
Justice Byrd,
Table.
yes or no?
Table it. That's a yes to table.
Okay. Carol,
I'm going to the table.
Dumas,
Yes.
Gaddy,
Undecided.
That's
Daniel,
No.
Holcomb,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Same seven.
Yeah.
Then it's table.
So it's table.
It's table.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman,
Chair recognizes Justice Carroll.
can I ask a question through you to the judge? Judge, a vote to abstain.
Is a no
It's a
vote. No vote.
I'm sorry, Judge, I didn't hear you sound like you were coming from over this way.
It's a no vote.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
That's my report, Judge.
Thank you, Justice Fisher. With nothing else on the agenda, we meeting is adjourned. Before everyone leaves, I'd like to,
That's the one that they dropped this. We take
Pink file was to read.
Good evening. Justice Dumas asked that I read this card. The front of it says, "Thank you. Thank you all for your phone calls, texts, and visits. It was very much appreciated. Melanie." And then the bottom portion reads, "We would like to thank you for the prayers, love, acknowledgments, support, and generosity shown to us during the loss of our loved one, Dr. Vanette W. Johnson. We love you, and we ask God's continued blessings for you and your families. The family of Vanette W. Johnson."
Thank you.
Melanie, you want me to read mine, did you? You want me to read it also? Judge, thank you for being there, checking on me and my family, offering assistance, providing the meals for my family, and for being a comfort during of the most difficult times in my life. I appreciate it so much, Melanie. And again, we would like to thank you for your prayers, acknowledgement, support, and generosity shown to us during the loss of our loved ones, Dr. Vanette W. Johnson. We love you, and we ask God continued blessings for you and your families, the family of Vanette W. Johnson. Thank you so much.
And for those who previously didn't know, Justice Vanette Johnson served on this quorum court for a number of years. It was
Over 30, wasn't it?
38.
Huh? 38.
Yes, that is correct.
To serve with him.
That is correct. Yes.
Judge, may I have a word?
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to, first of all, thank God for allowing me to be here tonight. And as big as I am and great as I am, I don't see the opponent that we ran against, but I wanted to let the media know and the people know that I do congratulate Tony Washington for his success. And I believe, King, you asked at that debate, we had one last question, and my question was, would we still be brothers in Jesus Christ? When it's over with, everyone let him know that I'm still his brother in Christ. And congratulations to all of the victors, and let us go ahead on and take care of this county business. Thank you so much, Judge. Judge, thank you for your support. Thank you for your confidence in me. And I wanted to pass this on to you. Now unto him who's able to keep you from falling, to present you faultless before the presence of his glory with exceeding joy. to the only wise God, our Savior, be glory and majesty, dominion, and power, so now and forever. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Amen, meeting adjourned. I'm sorry that you.
I would just say that, to Justice Jones, the kind words you shared with me, as I attempted to share with you, words spoken by your father, I hold them very precious, as well as, you know, very, very precious. Those words meant so much to me. Just to know that a giant like Dr. Van Jones means much.
Again, meeting adjourned.
Judge, can I see you for a minute, please? Just a minute. Just 1 minute. That's it.